Bash, C, C++, Cobalt, CoffeeScript, Elixir, Erlang, Go, Haskell, Java, JavaScript, Kotlin, MySQL, Objective-C, Perl, PHP, Python, R, Ruby, Rust, Scala, Scheme, Swift, and VB. Hello Sunshine and welcome to my channel, Sunshine in My Code. My name is Soa and today we're going to learn how to say hello world in 20 languages. So let's get into it. Java, the first language I learned, and even though I love it to bits and pieces, totally would not recommend it to beginners. You'll spend like a good long time trying to figure out what syntax means before it's actually useful to you. You want to say hello world in Java, it's just public class hello world, public static void main, argument of string arrays called args, and then inside the main method we say system.out.println hello world. Known for its beautiful body of open source projects that just pretty much make it usable for anything, Python is an absolute charm to work with, and it's really easy to learn. If you want to print like any string to it, you just go print hello world and hit the run, and there you go. Say hello world in C, you just include stdio.h to know how to, so that the program can know how to get the print function, and int main is just the main function that's called when the program is run, and then printf, we use printf for printing in C, and you can insert hello world and return 0 because main is of type int, and that's how you say hello world in C. C++, originally known as C with classes, kind of gives you the high performance of C and plus some object-oriented programming, which kind of makes the two work well together. Include IO stream using space name std, and then int main, and then you can put your printf statement inside and say hello world, and remember to return 0 because the main function in this case is actually of type int, just like with C. So C# was originally made by the .NET initiative, and they use it for a lot of their products, a lot of Microsoft products. And my first time using it, we were building a hotel management system. I know C# is also used for web development, so it's pretty versatile. And if you want to say hello world in C#, you just make a class called hello world, and then the main method, which again, remember, is the method that's called when the program runs. And then to print, you have system.console.writeLine, which is unique to C#, and then you add hello world inside, and that's it. That's how you say hello world in C#. And then there's the programming language of the web, JavaScript. Together with HTML and CSS, they pretty much make up the whole World Wide Web. Recently, there's been some really awesome packages that have been aiming to make JavaScript a whole lot better and easier. And if you want to say hello world in JavaScript, it's just console.log, and then you can put your quotes inside and write hello world. Yeah. Haskell is a purely functional programming language, and what that means is that there's no shared state or object mutation. This prevents things like race conditions and unpredictability in your code, and this is because for given the same input, you'll always get a specific output. Hello world in Haskell is just assigning the main method to put strline hello world, and there you go. And then there's PHP. To explain to you how unnecessarily unnecessary PHP is, the P in PHP stands for PHP, and I think pretty much that kind of sums it. So PHP is a server-side rendering language. It's kind of pretty old, and it's kind of stuck around for a really long time, so props to it for that. Would not recommend you use it, not recommended for anyone. Hello world in PHP, you just open up your PHP tag, and then you can echo hello world. Bash! And so is Bash a programming language? Yes, you can get Bash to do repetitive tasks, and you can write scripts for Bash, so yeah, it's a programming language. I used to be really scared of Bash. I think I used to be scared of the terminal, but now I really love it. I love doing stuff on the terminal. And if you want to say hello world in Bash, it's just echo in quotes hello world, and it just gives you hello world. JavaScript has always had a beautiful heart. You just had to look really hard and really difficult to find it. But with CoffeeScript, we can bring it for you. So CoffeeScript is just an attempt to bring you the really, really good parts of JavaScript without the pain. And that's what I think I just love about the description, and just the runaway from like JavaScript, because there were a lot of things that went kind of wrong with the way it was designed. Hello world in CoffeeScript. It's just console.log. It's actually quite similar to JavaScript. I suppose that's not one of the things they saw wrong with it. What I find really cool about Elixir is that it can be used from like web development stuff and embedded systems. That's range. Yeah, it's a descendant of Erlang, and it can also be used for distributed systems and tons of cool stuff. Hello world in Elixir, it's io.put hello world. Do you want to write highly efficient programs and not have to worry about your own garbage collector and manage memory safety? I present to you Go. Go was developed by ex-Googlers who had a mutual dislike for, well, C++. I can totally relate to them, they should hire me. They developed Go. Actually, Go, unlike a lot of languages that move away from C++, it actually doesn't build on top of C++. It moves from C and it kind of becomes its own language. Hello world in Go is just package main, import fmt, function main, fmt.print hello world. Here's MySQL. So MySQL, which is just my structured query language, is actually not a programming language, it's a querying language. In order for it to be a programming language, it has to do really repetitive tasks. And if you want to use MySQL to do really repetitive tasks, then you need to be protected from yourself. And if you want to say hello world in MySQL, you actually just create a table. So create a table called hello world that has an ID, which is of type integer, a title, which is a var that can take up to 100 characters. And then insert into the table hello world with the ID, the title, fields with the values of 1 and hello world. And if you go select star from test, you'll be able to get all of everything inside of test, which is at the moment just hello world. And then there's Perl. Perl is a group of languages. It's a combination of Perl 5 and Perl 6. Most languages, when they move up a version, they just go, this is a move up a version. But Perl was like, these are so different that the next version has to be both of them. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And Perl is actually also quite old. It's older than Python, but if you do write any Perl programs, you will feel like you're writing Python and script, which for me felt a bit intuitive because I do a lot of scripting and I'm a Python developer. So it was popular in the 80s, but it kind of slowed down a bit as it got with time. So to print to Perl, you just go use warnings and print hello world. R is the stats programming language. We used it in university for our stats module. So R allows you to get in, like you can take a data set and then it will analyze that data set for you, give you the mean, the median, and the binomial distribution of data, and it will even draw the graphs for you. So if you're a data scientist, you really need to, like if you're considering data science, R is definitely the language for you. It's used in industry. Hello world in R, you just go cat and put quotes in and hello world, yay! Voted the most loved programming language of 2017, Rust is simply C++ with better memory management. How wholesome. So Rust doesn't allow any dangling null pointers, a garbage collector, and a whole bunch of cool stuff that you pretty much don't like about C++, but it gives you still the high memory performance, which kind of feels really good. Hello world in Rust, it's just fn main print hello world. So Scala combines object-oriented programming and functional programming to pretty much fix everything that's wrong with Java, which is, in my opinion, quite a brave task to take on. Scala has static types to avoid complex bugs. It also has the JVM and JavaScript runtime to allow you to build high-performance applications. Scala kind of sounds like the biryani of programming languages. So to say hello world in Scala is just object main extends print hello world. Swift, for Apple, by Apple. It could not possibly get Apple-ier. So Swift was designed by Apple to kind of allow other developers to build applications for Apple. And it works really well with the large body of Objective-C code that Apple has under the hood. It also works well with their Cocoa and Cocoa Touch framework. Hello world in Swift, it's just print hello world. Yay. Clojure is developed by a community of people. It's actually run on the Clojure website, and I think it's one of the really cool things about Clojure. It's the way it's run as opposed to, I'm not too concerned about what it does. And the person who made Clojure actually worked for 2.5 years on their own with zero funding to develop it, and now they just run it in a super open source community on the website. You can track issues like put something forward for the community to discuss, and it might be in the next release if the community decides that it's worth it. That's really how open source is made to run, and that's one of the things I really love and I really enjoy about Clojure. And last but not least is Kotlin. Kotlin is one of the few languages that are supported by Android by the Google Foundation for Android Development. As you may know, like you can only, there's very few languages. I actually only know of Java and Kotlin that you can use to develop Android apps. Kotlin depends on the Java library, and it also targets the JVM, but you can also use it for JavaScript development. And if you want to say hello world in Kotlin, fun, yes, fun. Main argument string, an array of strings, and inside it you can just say print line hello world. And yeah, that's it. That's how you say hello world in 20 languages. My social media on Twitter, I'm @suagodimo_m. On Instagram, I am @matapeng, and you can just follow me on my social media. And if you want me to cover anything, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, subscribe to Sunshine in My Code, share this video with your friends. Thank you for watching my videos, as always.